Let me see.
Hey everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I'm coming to you guys today with Mr. Ryan McCrary of McCreery Financial Services. And you guys, today we're going to talk about what we hear a lot of questions are 3 ways to start a business by next Friday. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Great. I'm excited. I get this email a lot. Hey, I'm about to lose my job or something's happening. I need to start a business by next week. And I go, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not a miracle worker, but I can do what you have going in front of you. So one of the things before I start our 3 is I always recommend, and I keep showing y'all, this is a calendar. This is, see in there, that I carry with me. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to grab one. Why? Because I need you to know when your bills are due each part of the month. And most people say, oh, I know. But if I was to come up to them with their light bill tomorrow, they'd be like, it's due today? They don't know. So fill that book out. And in the future, that book can be used to fill out appointments or business payments or good things. So Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself again, just for the audience the last time they didn't catch you.
Absolutely. So I'm from the Philadelphia area. Yes, I am an entrepreneur. I am a business owner. I worked in the finance industry for about 6 years through a couple different corporations. And it was good, but I just didn't really see myself climbing the corporate ladder. So I decided to take all the information I learned in finance and just want to give it to, everyday people. So I opened my own company, which is McCreery Financial Solutions, LLC. We focus on teaching financial literacy, budgeting, because a lot of people, they may want to save more or invest, but they don't know how to budget properly. So we do a lot of services when it comes to budgeting. We do offer small business development, so help people start their own business, develop a business model. And then the last piece of my company, we focus on marketing, advertising. So I'm, real good in the social media space, help people develop their own business, like Facebook page or Instagram page, help them promote, teach them how to run ads, and basically just how to monetize their social media if they haven't already. So everything that, just with financial literacy, business, investing, everything in that realm, that's kind of, the realm I'm in.
So essentially part of that is coaching, correct? Like you're coaching and walking inside with them.
Yeah. Do a lot of one-on-one sessions. I'm going to start doing more webinars. And I actually have an online financial literacy, introduction to financial literacy course that will be available within the next few weeks. Just talking about financial literacy and investing and, credit, real estate, stuff like that.
I love that. I love that, because I think a lot of times people don't realize when they start a journey towards, either financial independence, correcting their budget, starting a business, that the conversations they want to have with their best friend or their mom or their brother, they're sitting looking at the table like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Go to your job, hush your face, right? So a lot of times you need, and people say, well, you don't need a mentor, you don't need a coach, but sometimes you need someone who is an accountability partner and will walk alongside you. And that is a lot of times what me and you offer sometimes is really accountability.
Definitely do that. I just talked to someone the other day, and I'm going to help her develop like her own online store. She said she doesn't have she has close family members and friends, but she can't talk business with them. So she was happy to come across me so we can talk business. I can tell her how to start an online store. I can direct her to a graphic designer. I can show her how to advertise. I can get her, to like a drop shipping or fulfillment service team. I have a lot of resources that a lot of people that aren't entrepreneurs yet or entrepreneurs or still have a job and they want to be business owners. I provide people a lot of resources that they just don't know are available.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, some of my clients, I'm emailing them like back and forth a lot during the day. And then there's some, here's your assignments for the week. See you next week. And it's like,
exactly.
Yep. So one of the things I encourage everybody to do is when you say you don't get access to me or Ryan, I want you to go out and find a group of people who are like-minded that you can talk with. Because a lot of times I'll have people say, Erica, I'm ready to do all this real estate stuff. And I go, the reason a lot of guys and girls succeed in real estate or succeed in whatever business they're in is they have a circle of influence.
Exactly.
Right? So really if you sit down and you tell me you want to be in real estate, I'm going to ask you, what are the 10 contractors what are the 10 business loan officers what are the 10 other people in your market? Because it's not about competition. Sometimes it's a collaborating together.
Exactly.
So I'll ask you, who are the 10 other people in your sphere that you have conversations with, because it's vital.
Exactly. Absolutely. I agree 100%. And the good thing about like social media and technology in this day and age, it makes it easier to get in touch with those people or find those people. You know, if you can't find them, you know, in your day to day or any in person seminars or stuff, you can find anything you want online. So that's the good thing about the digital space and social media, because that just makes it easier to find those people.
Yeah, I'm currently trying to finish up the editing on a book called Explosive Networking, because literally the past 2 years have been like a boom to my painting business, boom to my online business, as far as just meeting people, connecting with people, and just helping everyday people. How do I connect more, Erica? How do I connect better? And that's why I just like wrote down the top 18 questions I kept getting about networking. And I think people are overthinking it. They're coming with all these, you know, business cards and doing all this stuff. And it's like, really, you're connecting with a whole new group of people. You know, imagine when you went to college and you got a whole new set of friends.
Mm-hmm.
You're not losing your old friends. You're just adding some new ones in there to the rotation.
Absolutely. So, I agree with that 100%.
So one of our guys, Alvin, said, nice to see so many people making moves, new class of people being made. For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what was our number one? Our number one, how to start a business by Friday, next Friday.
Number one, I would say find your market. So first thing, entrepreneurship, business ownership, it's a culture. People that aren't entrepreneurs or aren't business owners don't realize that it's not just about like being a business owner per se. It's about getting into the entire culture. So the number one thing I would say is find your market. Before you even start a business, just find your market. And that could be anything. That could be, you know, if you sell, you know, anything. If it's a hot day and there's 100 people wondering where water is, you getting a case of water for $4 and you selling $1 each, that's $20. So you netted $16. So that's just a simple example of just developing a business model and finding your market. Where do you see people asking for something, or where something is not there and you can deliver it? So that's the first thing I tell people. I mean, there's 3 parts to a business: having a product or service, having someone willing to pay for it, and then a way to get paid. Number 1 and 3 to me are the easiest. You know, a lot of people always say, I got a great idea, I got a great product, great. All they want to do is talk about the idea or the service. And then the part to get paid, that's kind of easy, you know, cash, credit, PayPal, whatever. But finding someone who's actually going to pay for that service or product, what I found in business is the hardest part. So number 1 to me is you have to find your target market. You want to think to yourself, if I have a business or I have a product, who is the ideal person that will buy this product? Your specific target market. So what demographic that is, you know, whether age, is it for millennials, is it for a baby boomer, is it for, you know, children like Snapchat? You know, their business model is directly targeted to the young generation, like millennials and lower. So number 1, I would say is find the market. And then we can go into 2 and 3. Number 2, I would say probably is the LLC application. We can talk about that. But what I tell people with business, you want to start is just find your market first. Don't create a business and you have no one to buy your product.
Exactly. So, or a lot of times people create something because it's their vanity project and no one's buying it. And I'm like, you created something for you. And a lot of times, here's the kicker. So a lot of people are jumping online trying to find this online money. I got to get this online money. And 9 times out of 10, they would make $5,000 to $10,000 at the end of this month if they actually just got out and knocked doors, honestly. But people want to look a certain way, right? Or people, I've been to college, I got this car, I can't do that. And so what I usually tell people is, your market is probably not what you're thinking. So for me, we have on the outside here, I got the painting company. My market is exhausted dads, exhausted moms who see their neighbor's house get painted, or see improvements go next door and go, we got to get some improvements, right? So then, but a lot of my leads come from online from a company called Home Advisor. So literally what I do is we set up the company, we set up that online service that took maybe a week for them to background check us and other things, and leads came in. Now, do we have to pay for those leads? Of course. But it showed us who our market was and where they were living, right? If you have, let's say you have a power washer And I know this sounds silly to some people, but if you have a power washer, people love getting their driveway clean, getting their siding, you know, vinyl siding sometimes gets dirty, gets the moss look on the side if you're in the South, Georgia, or those places, even in Texas, like the limestone gets a little grimy. That's an easy thing where you're just bringing your power washer and hooking it up to their water system. So it's not even coming out of your pocket. The thing is, you have to be able to be honest with yourself. A lot of people want to go online and make $1 million tomorrow, but that's, if they're honest with themselves, it takes 3 to 5 years online. If you're doing it with no money, right? If you're doing it, that's why a lot of people you see on YouTube and Facebook that are blowing up and they just started 6 months ago, they're putting anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 in marketing and ads.
Exactly.
And what's funny is I'll tell people that and they're going, no. And I'm like, let me show you this thing called Social Blade. And let me show you these things where I can show you where their metrics are going crazy, and that's from ads. You know, I always say if Dr. Boyce Watkins dropped $1 million on YouTube, he'd be the Ty Lopez on YouTube.
Exactly, absolutely.
I know they spent like $500,000 on Facebook. I was like, you could have saved that money and threw it all on YouTube, baby. Like, just all of it would have, you know. But there's different markets you got to grab. So, but that's the key. Like, how do you find out your market? Like, what is something people are asking? And here's the funny thing. There's a guy our family knows who, you know, he's older. He came out of jail. He was like 40 something. And, you know, he just put on a pair of khakis and a nice clean shirt, walked around knocking doors with the lawnmower. And in my mind, my mom would be like, well, I'm gonna give it to him because, you know, it's such a hard for him. He just got out of jail. Little did she know, homie had been knocking doors for weeks. You know, he had a nice chunk of change in his mom's house. And so I always find it funny that, you know, people assume lawn care and those businesses don't make money, but you can really, if you chalk it up to $50 per home and you get about 2 or 3 homes a day, you're getting $5,000 or $6,000 at the end of the month if you're getting every day, you know?
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to mess up. You know, if you go into one market and it's not your market, take it as a learning lesson. You know, there's nothing wrong with messing up. So, I mean, that's just what I would say. I mean, with entrepreneurship, business ownership, just get in the game. If you're on the sidelines, you can talk about this and that. If you're in the game, even if you're losing and you don't find your market or you're not making a lot of money at first, you're actually in the game, though. Just get in the game. That's the first thing you want to do. Get in the game. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to get in an entrepreneur pool. You can't be scared to get wet.
The funniest part of what you're saying is I know someone who's been planning a business for 5, almost 6 years, and the market has changed. Like, they can't even get into what the original thing they wanted to get in at. And I'm like, you waited too long. You have to take action. You have to go, you know. And even if I have hiccups, so like my channel, I thought, well, it'll, you know, all these women will want to know about what I'm talking about. 99% of my audience is male. And it's white males. And I'll be careful as I say that here, because some of my commenters are African American. I have a lot of Latino women, Latino men, and white men who buy the credit repair services from me. Lately, I've had a lot of Black couples who are like, yeah, we're ready to take the next step and go investing. So you always have to be careful who you think your market is and look at your analytics. I love that YouTube shows me, okay, it's been 70% male viewership. And then with the emails and people buying from the website consulting, I can see from there like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Yep. So Ryan, I think, might have a lot more women following his channel from what I've seen on his Facebook. So it's one of those things that's odd, but I've noticed it in the marketplace. So Facebook for, you know what I mean? Facebook versus YouTube, and sometimes versus different things.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree. I probably do have more women. And yeah, I got to run my YouTube analytics. I need more subscribers on too. So everybody who's watching, please subscribe to my channel as well. You can just type my name, Ryan McCrary, and you can go to my channel so I can run those analytics. But yeah, I would agree on Facebook. Probably more women.
Yeah. Chris McDonald said good stuff. Thanks, Chris. We appreciate it. So what was the other one? The second one you said was after how to market your market. What was the second one? You said
the LLC application. I mean, a lot of people think, I would argue that it's easier to fill out an LLC application than it is to do like a job application.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about the little job applications like one page. I'm talking about those long ones where you have to create a username, create a password, and you have like 10 different steps and modules you have to go through, putting all your history and work history and, you know, all that college information. I would argue that an LLC is actually easier. So, to create a business now, in a week, you can go on LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer, or just get a lawyer if you know a lawyer, and you can create an LLC. You could create it now. You may not get your paperwork back for a week or 2, 3 weeks, and your tax ID number for a couple weeks, but you can actually go on LegalZoom.com right now and say, take you no more than about 15, 20 minutes. The good thing about places like LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer, they have numbers where you can call, and if you're stuck, they can walk you through the entire process. You can ask them any questions. They're mostly all lawyers. So in 20 minutes, you can get off this YouTube podcast, and in 20 minutes, you can be a business owner of an LLC.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the LLC is important because this is what happens. A lot of times, if you look at plumbing guys, painting guys, construction companies, they'll start out with Jim Bob's Painting, right? And they'll do a DBA, right? Something happens, whether they lose their insurance, something happens, and then they got to go put the DBA in their wife's name.
Exactly.
When they could have started it with the LLC. Now, I remember I did a video on this channel about having a DBA, and it cost $14, right? So I was in North Carolina, my DBA it cost $14 to do it for my county. And everybody was like, man, I'm in New Jersey, I'm in Philadelphia, it costs $70. I'm like, calm down. Calm down. It's okay. Like if you can't chalk up $70 to your future, it's hard for me to get the conversation started. Like I'm just asking you to get the DBA just to get the bank account. I'm asking you to try to get started.
Exactly.
So I have a question that says, Alvin, what has your LLC protected you from? And also, how do you manage the consistent documentation with LLC, like administrative meetings and financial? So I'll answer a little bit first, and then I'll let you hit it, Ryan. So with my LLC, with my family, we have farming, and then we have rental property. So my uncles have put just that one house in the LLC. Why? Because if something happens to that old house, it catches on fire or whatever, and they want to sue for faulty whatever, the only money they will be able to get is what is connected to that LLC. Exactly. So what I teach my clients to do is, let's say you're in New York and it's expensive. You're like, man, the taxes are crazy, but you buy a rental property in Georgia. I'm going to tell you to create a division within your company, get another LLC, and open up a bank in Georgia. Let all your rental income come to that bank. Let all your insurance money coming out of that house come out of that bank, because you will have a track record for that company. Now, not only can you get financing for the big LLC, you can get financing for this lower LLC that just has these housing units in it. Another way to look at it is, if you were in a DBA and you did faulty work on someone's house and they want to sue. Well, if you're Jim Bob's Plumbing DBA, you're going to have to pay for her flooring. And what if you say, well, my company didn't make that much money last year? Well, Jim Bob, because maybe your insurance won't cover it, now you have to cover whatever the gaps are in her damages. So the LLC, some states are starting to give you a little gruff. New York is starting to say, well, you're just a one-member LLC, so we're gonna let you have some protection, but we're still gonna tax you. Mm-hmm. And so I tell people, if you have a couple of friends and y'all want to get together in a group, or a family wants to do an LLC, that's a great way to do it too, to kind of buffer your way from there. But 9 times out of 10, what I tell people is, LLC in my mind is separation and more business funding. Because at the end of the day, some of those first round applications, you are going to have a personal guarantee. But what happens is, now that company has a history of payments, that company has a history of being financed, it's a legit company. It's not just a shell corp.
Exactly.
I hope that answered it, Alvin. I don't, But go ahead, Ryan. What was your?
It's just a separate entity, to protect you from your personal assets. So, if someone's on here and you want to start an LLC, after you're in business, make sure you have a good lawyer and a good accountant on your team. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an accountant. I'm a business owner. So I, run the day-to-day operations for a business. But anything legal, I just call my lawyer. Anything tax-wise, if I'm confused, I just call my accountant. So, that doesn't mean I don't know, all the nuances as well, but you just want to make sure you have good legal and tax advisors around as well. That's very important.
I call it CYA, consult your attorney, consult your accountant.
Yep.
It says on here, how do you protect your LLC from being pierced or minimize risk from being pierced? Well, here's the thing about I know people say, when I go to my bank, and I'll say, for example, whatever, Carolina Bank or something, right? I'm just naming something so you don't know my real bank, all right? And I have a business account and a personal account. If I go take money out of my business account at the teller, and I take that same $45 and put it in my personal, sometimes people consider that co-mingling. Mm-hmm. So what I tell people, and I really mean this, like, set up your business account, let all your stuff go there. If you have to, write yourself a little check every Friday.
Yep.
Friday, this is to Erica from this company. And people sometimes think that's just so much work, Erica. I could just swipe my business debit card everywhere I go. Well, you really are kind of killing the protection it's giving you. Mm-hmm. You know, we have a friend here in Austin, you know, he called it Dave Services. He had Uber and Lyft before they took it away and gave us some other stuff. But he did a couple different things, but he would just have all his deposits for Uber, deposits for Instacart, and deposit for Lyft go into a business bank account. And so when he paid for gas, when he paid for whatever, he could say, this is the track record of my company. Mm-hmm. This is my expenses. This is what came in, what came out. And he literally had a really great tax refund that year. But I think people, they are so willing to be like, well, this is my money. I made it anyway. You know, a lot of times hair salons, barbershops, you know, they have a lot of problems commingling money, you know, because they walk around with a lot of cash. And you gotta separate. You gotta separate as well as you can. And on top of that, have insurance. Because at the end of the day, $1 million insurance for my painting company only costs $450. You can't beat that. I mean, that's $1 million. I mean, if somebody wants to, you know, and then a lot of my workers are 1099, so they're actually required to insure themselves. So
yeah, you don't have to provide benefits.
It's multiple ways you can do it. You just have to be smart. And you know, that book I keep recommending you guys, I really want you guys to go buy it. It's 475 ways, tax deductions and incentives for small business owners and small start companies. But basically it's worth getting. And there's so many things in there you would not think of, you know, compared to the actual 9 a regular person gets. I mean, I even talk about starting a business because the number of deductions you'll get is just cray, you know, just cray in comparison to the regular 9 you're going to get.
Exactly. And, you know, especially like when you have a job and you say, oh, well, this person made 6 figures, he made $100,000. Yeah, that is before taxes. Yes. So if you made $100,000, they actually, you know, netted 70 or, you know, I don't know. But, you know, a lot of people don't think it when you're a business owner, usually it's, you know, income minus expenses. So that's just another thing. A lot of people, you know, that have jobs and think, oh, I made $50,000 a year. $50,000 a year.
You make 35. You made 35,000.
Exactly. And depending on where you live, the cost of living could be just crazy. So,
well, I even do it like this for people. I know it drives me crazy, but I go, okay, you say you made 50, you really made 35. Let's say your rent is $1,000 a month. Okay, let's take 12 from 35. Really, you making what, 23,000? Okay, 23,000. Let's keep going. 23,000. Let's say it cost you another 1,000 for food, lights, cable, all that good stuff. Now you're at what? Almost at 11,000 a year left over. And you know, there's some other stuff we could add in there. If you get a car,
exactly.
Let's take about average car payments $500
or at least 8 hours. You know.
Yeah, you're getting you down to about $5,000 out of 50,000. So let's do the real math here, people. And that's why I'm really big about people tracking. Once you go, we are so broke we can't afford to do tires on a car or something, right? Why? We both make 50, and you sit down and do the math, then you get angry, then you get serious. And that's what happens with a lot of Dave Ramsey folks. They're just like, we are broke. What happened?
And when you think about the labor that goes into making the 50, you know what I mean? You gotta wake up early, maybe drive an hour. I used to wake up at 6 a.m, drive an hour to work 8.5 hours, and drive an hour home. So I get home at like 6:30, eat dinner, try to go to bed by 9, 10 o'clock, and then you wake up and do it all over again.
Yeah. Or people that are like, I'm a weekend warrior. I'm like, no, man, I can't do that. No. I mean, this is the kicker. This is the kicker. I started seeing moms who stayed home with their kids and the difference in those children. Like just the time. Like I've just seen moms who get off work and they got to run and go get these kids from this daycare, and they're agitated. The kids get there, they're agitated. There's no actual rest and relaxation of you. You know, if you're telling a kid they can be all they can be and they come home and see you, like stressed, frustrated, what are you really communicating? Because kids are very receptive to non-verbal stuff. Exactly. So I saw where Alvin also said on here, good answer. Is an EIN necessary to operate a business before an LLC? Alvin, I'm always going to recommend you guys get an EIN number, but I prefer you get your LLC first, then get your EIN number. And get your EIN number. I mean, we're still falling under that category of the DBA business, right? Mm-hmm. And where it's really not separate. It's just you do business as this name instead of your name, Alvin, right? So, and the key here is we want this entity to be separate because we want this entity to be respected. We want this entity to make money. That first go around, that first $40,000 to $125,000 in business funding, you know, the more separation there is, the better it is for you. The better it is for you to get approved. And that's the key there. Oh my goodness, I see a ton of questions here. Okay, recommendation, Bo's News. I swear you're 100% correct. That's what I did, and I was flabbergasted. Never again. Bo's News. You see, you got to do it in the right order. It gets you. It's crazy because they'll make you go get another EIN. It's crazy. Passion for decor, EIN number, DUNS number, and business credit. Is it in that order? Trying to get into real estate, rental properties. Thanks for the live chat. Love tuning in. Great advice. For that, I would say LLC, EIN number, DUNS number, and business credit. I'd say in that order because honestly, you don't even people. I'm going to say this, and people are going to hate it. DUNS number for the business credit, but this is case by case basis. People don't take this as universal. Don't go and be like Erica said I didn't need it. Now you do. And
I'm going to piggyback on what you're about to say because I agree.
Yeah, like it's a case by case basis. There are several people I've worked with who we took them to Wells Fargo and got them that secure Wells Fargo credit card. Then all of a sudden, then they got a DUNS number. I mean, there's many ways we've done it. And the key is I'm always telling my clients is personal accounts and business accounts. And when we apply for loans, we apply at the same time. So I want you to be as foundationally ready as possible. So each case by case depends. Go ahead, Ryan.
Now, I was going to say, yeah, I mean, like worry about trying to make money for the business before you worry about that, you know, all that other stuff, you know, because you may just go through a lot of hoops and pay a lot of money to, you know, get that, you know, like on your website or whatever, and then your business is not making money. So the main thing in business too is just focus on trying to make money. All the administrative stuff is great, but if you don't have a solid business model first, everything else is, you know, kind of going to collapse.
Especially with the name. I've had clients, we've had to go back and change the name because they were going to be a this or a that. This is what I want you to do. If you had to start tomorrow, folks, name it something so generic. And people get mad when I tell them, blah company, blah management, blah services. You want to put a little in front of it, services. And people go, but I want them to know I'm the, no. Because in 10 months, you might want to do something different. Like my painting company. Here's the crazy part. Our original name is painting and remodeling. Well, then we lost some of the contractors that we had for remodeling. So then we had to go, hold up, we're really just painting, okay? So we added a couple guys to our crew who are fence repair and do power washing. So now I literally go around and we are Grandview Services is what I'll tell you. Now, if you go look and Google us in Austin, you know, you'll see Grandview Painting and Remodeling LLC. But the key is you want to stay flexible. So I can tell you from personal experience, plus years of me seeing people put investments and real estate this and real estate that, and the bank go, I'm not loaning them money. You know, something that fly. I mean, the funniest client I have is his last name is Lee, and then we'll leave it at that. And he put like Lee's Asia Town Cleaners, and I was like, this is not gonna get approved anywhere because he's half Asian, half black. But it's actually funny. But he actually did. Like the bank was like, ooh, like, but they did. They gave him money. So.
Well, you want to think it's possible. Try to put as much as possible. That's the main point.
Yeah, very bland. You know, don't worry so much about the name as getting results because, you know, you could start a lawn care business tomorrow and realize, you know what, we don't want to do lawn care. We want to do window cleaning, right? You know, people can't reach these big, tall, second-story windows. Great. And honestly, the reason I keep harping against the online phenomenon of I'm a laptop entrepreneur, not that I don't think it's great. I just think we're living in a society where so many single women living in big houses by themselves, so many single men living in big houses by themselves, so many older people living in houses by themselves, that handyman services are in such demand. Like, you know, if you're a guy and you look decent, you don't look crazy, you could go knock doors, and from cleaning the gutters to cutting the grass to removing leaves. We've got neighbors with leaves still in their yards. It's freaking April. Like,
and that brings me to another thing I was thinking about. Another thing in business is good is diversification. You know, you just want to have your hand in many different pots. Like you said, a laptop entrepreneur, online entrepreneur is great, but nothing wrong with just, you know, having a brick and mortar business, or like you said, being able to provide actual services, handyman services, as well as online. You know, I'm big on diversification and just having many different pots and just many multiple streams of income.
Yeah, the key is once you get a system, okay, what I call is a standard operating procedure. If Ryan cannot be in his office for the next 3 days, what are Ryan's tasks? Can someone come into Ryan's office and do his task, right? You know, majority of tasks, you know, not everything. But if you can create that, you can start as many businesses as you want. You just need to have the money to pay the employees. Exactly. Right? Because what if, okay, I'm over here with painting, but you know what, I decide, you know, we want to do a roofing company. Well, now all we got to do is just pop in another LLC, another division to that company, and get standard operating procedures for what our roofing guys do. And so people have to think like that. I mean, it's just easier. There's a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and he has a pyramid in one of the diagrams. And every one person you add, it pushes you guys to the top, right? Like, it's a struggle to go up the hill by yourself. And the more people you add to that push, you can grow. Because a lot of times the average small business in America, there's 28 million small businesses, 24 million of them are a one-person business. Okay, out of that 24 million, I think half or 1/4 of those make about $50,000 a year. Well, what if you could add 2 more people to your business and you're only paying them for part-time work, right? And now you can double or triple your business. Now your company's making $100,000 or $200,000. You have to think a little bit deeper in that way.
I mean, yeah, it's all about sustainability. You know, you want an institution that is sustainable. Like you said, if you go on vacation for 3 days or a week, can that still run? You know, if God forbid you passed away and or something happened, or, you know, you ran a small business your entire life, but you want to pass it to your children, you can't pass over a one-man operation. You know, you want to have something sustainable, institution, be able to pass to your kids or someone else, you know, if you just can't run it or if you're just not there.
Or if you have so Grant Cardone's father had a business, and then he made all this money and moved him to the better side of town, and then he had a massive heart attack, and his mom wasn't prepared, nobody was prepared, and so then they took their like $1 million life insurance policy and just lived really frugal because nobody was prepared. And so, you know, if something happens to Ryan, he breaks his foot or something, you know, can Ryan's, you know, mom or whoever, or sister, or anybody, can they come in here tomorrow and open up the email account and respond to clients so they're not freaking out, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, it's just got to be that way. It's got to be that simple way. And like, you know, if you ever go to some of these offices, the funny thing is, even a big trucking company I went to visit the other day, they had a whiteboard in office, and it wrote this time, call these people. And it was like, it was very structured, but it was still a whiteboard. And so I think we're overthinking how to hire employees. It's like, you know, if you ain't there, Lisa need to come in the office, make phone calls. Okay. Like, let's not make it overcomplicated.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I see here that they were like, Alvin said, good answer. Chris McDonald said, Erica, it's freaking April. Exactly. It's freaking April. And you know what it is? When we cut our grass and cleaned our yard up, all of a sudden all our neighbors started cutting the grass and cleaning up. It's pretty funny. It's the Joneses, you know? Okay. So Alan said the E-Myth is a good book. It teaches the importance of structure of a business so you can scale easier. Prime example of the E-Myth, barbershops and hair salons. A lot of time a person is a great technician. She's a great hair doer, but when she has to manage people, paying her booth rent and manage people, you know, running a business, they sometimes get overwhelmed and don't want to do it anymore because it wasn't fun. The fun was coming in, talking with the girls while y'all do hair, and she doesn't want to be the manager. So I've told this to a lot of people. If you're type, but it's been fitting some of the clients I've had. If you're, you know, you've got 3 siblings and one goes off to college and the other two have a skill, but they kind of like aren't focused. If that third brother that comes out of college can get the financing to open the shop, you know, open the barbershop, buy the chairs, buy the stuff, and your brothers have the talent to cut hair, y'all need to just figure that out and work that out, right? If you just need to be the straight out owner and can hire them to be managers, work that out. Another one is, you know, if your cousin's been doing mechanic stuff his whole life, but he's never made a ton of money, well, come to him with an offer that's juicy. Don't come to him with like, I'm gonna be in charge of you. Come to him with your cleaned up credit and your, you know, $50,000 credit card and go, hey, I'm gonna get this spot across town and I want you to lead the shop. Because you've been doing all this mechanic stuff so long. And I think that's where the hiccup is in African-American community, to just be honest. I see a lot of Hispanic people who will do that. They'll have a cousin, he went to college, you know, something happens, he'll come back and he'll run a store and everybody works in it, okay? Or, you know, I have white friends, we went to East Carolina University and their dads had insurance companies and AC and heating repair, like repair AC units. And both of those guys are like, yeah, we're gonna do all this when I leave college, I'm gonna do all that. A couple years later, they're both working for their dads.
Yep.
But the structure was there. The structure was there and the system is there. That when they leave college with $20,000, they can go work for their dad.
Exactly.
You know, what are you coming home to? Can you work with your siblings? What are you coming home to? And I think people don't think that far ahead like that. So
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
One of the guys says, I'm starting a cleaning business and need some assistance. .com show, Mr. .com show. There are a lot of answers online. At the end of the day, your cleaning business is, what I tell people to do is when you first start, I always say friends and strangers. Strangers are going to support you faster than family. But I would go write a list of the 150 people you know and go, hey, I'm starting a cleaning business. I got a couple girls I hired. Do you know anybody? Do you know any people you could recommend to me? Maybe 5 people you could recommend to me. If you have a list of 100 and you ask all of them for 5 people, and that's a list of like 600 to 700 people. Now here's the kicker. Sometimes people, all they know is their family. Well, what is that going to require you? That's going to require you to go to the other side. You're going to have to go to strangers. And we were supposed to talk about advertising, so I'll go ahead and do it now. For the cleaning business, as we segue in, thank you, .com show. You know, for bandit signs. And people always say, oh, those bandit signs drive me crazy. They're always showing we buy houses. I'm saying when you are at someone's house, painting, cleaning, concrete patios, whatever, have a little sign and say, you know, as part of our services, we just stick this in your front yard for 3 days and we come and remove it.
Advertising.
You know what I mean? So they don't think we're stuck with it. Yeah, we're just advertising while we're here working. You know, even Stanley Steamers, look at their van. It's covered in their advertising. If you say you did a carpet cleaning, be like, hey, can I put my sign out here for a few days? I will personally come back and get it. People just don't like junk left in their yard. So if you just stick it out there, let the number ring. For some reason, people do what their neighbors do. Same thing with tree trimming. Put a tree trimming sign out there for a few days and work that neighborhood. Some of the kids I know, they're college students and they'll power wash in the summer in Texas because we had a drought. So there were a couple of years they wouldn't let you power wash. So now they're letting you power wash again. So these kids will come out, 3 dudes in a little Ford Ranger, and one kid's cleaning, and the other 2 are knocking doors down the street. Hey, we're over here power washing. Did you want to come by your house next? We have a little swipe machine, which they have the little PayPal swipe thing. You know, you can get a receipt right then and there, sir. You know, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, advertising is definitely, you know, big. I'm big on just using so many different ways to advertise. Like you said, like I'm big on online. Facebook advertising and, you know, stuff like that. But like you said, any product or service that I sell and someone buys, if I sell a t-shirt, oh, this person bought a t-shirt, look who it is, they're happy, a satisfied client, boom. So now, you know, if you want to buy a t-shirt, this person was happy, or this service like cutting grass or cleaning, you know, the hardest thing I've seen in business too is getting the first sale. Yes. Once you get the first sale, then everything else just seems to be easier. So get that first sale and then advertise that. Tell them to give you feedback. If you have Yelp or, you know, something like that, Home Advisor is great. Just getting that feedback from those sales and advertising the existing customers you have is a great segue to getting more clients and customers by advertising the existing people that already bought products and services from you.
For sure, for sure. I mean, referrals are very powerful. Action is better. Exactly. And what I mean when I say this is asking your friends to give you referrals is great, but when you actually do service and you take pictures and you're posting on Facebook and the energy and the momentum is there, whole different vibe. I've had friends start moving companies and everybody's like, nah, man, go ahead, dude. And he'll have to hire strangers to help him. And then all of a sudden when they're making, they're doing jobs every single day of the week, moving military families, making money. Now people are like
doing that.
Hey, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people who are entrepreneurs get disheartened because their family isn't supporting. But along the way, many entrepreneurs have, gone up, gone down, go up, go down. And so instead of being worried about my family's not giving me the support, keep throwing out that energy and bringing new people into your network. Then that's how you run. Like I'll tell y'all now, I had to literally bust out. It's been 3 years. I had to show my mom my bank account statements. And she was finally like, okay, I'm just saying, okay. And because some people
don't believe it until they see it.
Yeah. I mean, I have people who are like, I'm so concerned about you. And I'm like, would you like to see my bank account statement? And you're not bragging, you're just being really honest.
Yeah, so. You got image is everything. That's why I tell people, especially with business, image is everything. Having people see it and advertising that's key.
The funny thing is we're a show me kind of country, right? Ty Lopez has all these kids watching. Why? Because he's showing them like Lamborghinis. And so that's what I say about if you're in business, Facebook page, I'm not saying you're harassing your friends. What you do is you just show them, oh man, out here working it today. You know what I mean? Just nice photos of you consistently for the next 90 days, just showing these pictures because it just shows consistency. Yeah, and I've been 2 years into the business now? Yeah.
That builds a brand. Once you consistently and having people see what you're about on a consistent basis, like you said, 90 days or however long, that builds your brand for you. So people then know what you're about. I'm big on branding as well.
So if it was online and you help people with marketing online, what are some of the things you'd want them to do online?
Online, like with social media, a lot of people use social media for entertainment. So I tell people just get out of that entire mindset. Turn your social media into business. So whatever you do, just, show people a lot of it through social media. Don't just post, when you're going out or family. That stuff is good, but like put your business on there. If you want to advertise your product. Start spending some money to get some traffic. YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Twitter, like however you got to do it, just do it online. And I'm big on like building a brand. I mean, if you build a brand, you won't have to spend as much money on advertising. That's what I've seen in personal experience. Once you start building your brand and people start seeing what you're about, your family, your friends, you're consistently doing it, and everything else you do kind of, consistently corresponds to what you do. Because like me, everything I do usually, it coincides with pretty much everything I do. I'm big on finance and wealth and stock market investing. So every much I kind of do, whether it's business, like I said, investing in the stock market, everything kind of coincides with what I already do. So when I help people with advertising, I see, okay, what is your product? Who's your target market? Do you even have a Facebook business page? Do you know how to run ads? Do you know all the resources you can provide through Facebook advertising? Like it'll tell you, where. It'll tell you what demographic do you want to be in. So when you're advertising online, first try to build a brand. And then, another thing is when people start businesses or products and services.
Video at YouTube. Good.
When people start products and services, they put so much money into business. They put so much money into their product. And then when they're ready to offer the product or the service, you ask them, okay, what's your marketing budget? They don't have a marketing budget. You want to definitely have a marketing budget. You want to have some money set aside just to run ads, just to market, just to promote. So I'm big on everything you do. Just make that consistent with your brand and consistent with what you're trying to offer to the world. If you're, cutting grass or, offering cleaning, you may not want to talk about stuff that doesn't coincide with that. So, that's just another way for people to take you serious. You want people to take you serious. Everything you do just has to correspond with your product or service or just your brand or your business in general.
I agree with everything he just touched on, because the number one guy, I don't know if you guys have been on YouTube that long, Mike Chan, six-pack abs. Perfect example. He was before Tai Lopez, there was Mike Chan. Mike Chan was the Tai Lopez of ads, like 2013 to 2015. People were like, how the hell can I get Mike Chan six-pack abs off my ads, right? Because he was this Asian guy who's buff, and so it just took off like wildfire, right? And what happened is, he will tell you the first 2 months they spent anywhere from $7 a day to $50 a day. And then, 149 million views later, the history is history, right? So they made so much money that in their affiliates and their referrals, Mike Chan even bought himself out, because he has a business here in Austin, like a brick and mortar like me. Like, he has a service business. And so he didn't even need the YouTube anymore. So there's other YouTube hosts on the show. So, I mean, that's how powerful that can be, advertising. Ryan's looking at me like, who is that? But yeah, like,
money.
I would it means $7 to 20 because what happens is, you're buying space all over the world, but even if you just say United States, you could be buying space in Alabama and Minnesota and Wisconsin. I ended up getting a bunch of sales out of Florida and Alabama, and I wasn't even marketing in those areas. I was literally just marketing for Georgia and marketing for, I think, Virginia for a while. And so it's like, it picks up. It's a very strong and powerful tool. And I think the numbers are, if you pay about $1,000, you'll get about 70,000 views. You pay about $10,000, that's about 700,000 views. That's so, I mean, that's on YouTube. So there's many ways to win. That's why when I tell you, if y'all see a channel all of a sudden it just blows up out of nowhere, it's got 1 million views, they might have took a $20,000 credit card and dropped it on the AdSense. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's a great ROI. So, why not? And that's the good thing about the digital space, is you have the ability to do that. There's so much out there just in the digital space and online space that you wouldn't even dream of, and you can actually just go and buy that and just get traffic. A lot of people aren't even aware that you can get traffic and buy traffic. You know what I mean? So that's just something you want to be aware of. You want to know how to do it. And if you have the money, you definitely want to take advantage of it. Why not?
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, if you come across a $50,000 Amex card and you ask me what you would do with it, what to do with it, first I tell you, you need to have a book and a course and a way for people to call you, because people love talking to you. And have those 3 things set up on your online site, right? Then at that point, whatever's left over, I would drop about 40,000 into YouTube if I was that person. Yeah. If they really want to just kick it off, because Elliot Huss is a perfect example of, he for 5 years straight did a video every day. And then all of a sudden it just took off. So the Strength Camp has like 193 million views right now. His personal channel has another 100 million views. But it all comes from consistency and having a place for people to go. If people watch your channel and they want to support you, what can they buy from you? Can they buy a t-shirt? Can they buy a book? Can they, there's ways people want to support that may not be $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000.
Exactly. Absolutely. And then you're not, you're able to get your painting service, or, you know what I mean? Like, let's say I'm in Philly and I want to support you, but you don't have a way to paint my house, because of location. Yeah. You may have a book or a product, or a t-shirt or a course or something else that I can just support you with. So yeah, I've definitely seen that, when I was selling t-shirts, a lot of people, they might not have been ready for me to help them with their financial situation. They may not want to go over like how much they make. They want to, keep some stuff, to themselves, maybe personal, or they just may not be in a position to change their financial situation or be aware of that, but they wanted to support me. So they bought a t-shirt, or I'm going to have a course soon. So they may want to just buy a course instead of talking to me directly. You may not have time. You may still have a job. Oh, well, now you can buy this course and you can, watch the information, at your leisure. So, you don't have to, necessarily book a one-on-one with me. You can just buy this course, and then let's say you work overnight. You can watch all the content overnight while you're at work. And then, that just may work out better for you. So just having multiple products to be offered, I think is great.
For sure. I mean, look at Bill O'Reilly. I mean, right now, I tell everybody the next thing you're gonna see out of Tommy Lauren, who just got fired by the Blaze, is a book.
Oh, really?
I mean, that's what she's gonna do. I mean, that's her next play. Like, that's why she's fighting Glenn Beck to get free of that, so she can talk shit about him. Oh, excuse me. So she can talk back about him. That's what that's gonna be about, dude. Let me tell you, man. We'll talk about that in sidebar off camera, but I know lots of insight on that. But the point is,
but that's business, though. That's business.
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly sells 1 million copies every year of books, and so he's been putting out these books that are, to me, hot garbage. But somebody's always co-writing them with him, and sometimes they're interesting, sometimes they're not. But for 20 years almost, he's dropped a book every year. And you imagine selling 1 million books, and your publishers, because your Bill O'Reilly's going to give you $3 per every book you sell. Now you got what, $3 million every year from dropping a book and promoting it.
From just dropping a book. Exactly. Simple business model.
I mean, there's radio DJs, Dana Loesch, a couple of people, every time they talk about their book, they sell about 50,000 copies. The average book person is not going to sell more than 10,000 copies. So now imagine having that platform as a radio DJ or on TV and every day. Look at Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck was getting paid $3 million by Fox. No, $2 million by Fox when he was on there. Now, Bill O'Reilly was getting paid $18 million. Glenn Beck was getting paid $2 million. But Glenn Beck made $100 million in 4 years out of books and outside ventures outside of Fox.
Wow.
So, people are not really taking it. Like, when I talk about, if people really drop money on YouTube, they would have access to whatever. If they have a little thing on the side that says, contact me for sponsorships, contact me for whatever, you open the door for that. Now, will that take time? Yes. I'm thinking about dropping a podcast here shortly with a friend, but we already know it's going to take time to build that up. You're not going to be Joe Rogan overnight, but you could sell a lot off your niche.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to put the time in. I'm not afraid to put the time in. If I do something now, I may not reap the full benefits for a year or 2, 3 years, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with putting the time in and just building it. Nothing. A lot of people, another thing with entrepreneurship business, a lot of people want to get rich overnight. They just want to have the get rich overnight scheme. They don't want to put the work in, delayed gratification. They don't want to practice that. So just, most people, entrepreneurship, wealth building, just get out of the get rich quick overnight mindset. Just get out of that mindset.
A perfect example, this channel has been a side project for 2 years. And it wasn't until it made $50,000 over the past 8 months that I had to go, oh, give it some more attention. Let me give it some more attention. Yeah. And that's just, that's public information. You guys can look anything up. But like, it was from calls and customers and consulting. And I'm like, oh, and so, but even when I see men who want to talk about sports, if you love sports, like you want to be on the radio with Skip Bayless, you can start a podcast and come home and for an hour tell your wife and kids, I need to close this door and talk on this mic, you know what I mean, about sports, and review ESPN. Look at Cal and Cowherd. And Fox Sports, the ship was sinking at ESPN and they fired 200 people. Look at all the podcasters and news reporters that came out of that because they knew they could do that on the side now for cheaper and still work in what they love, and those channels pay them.
And that's the beauty of the internet. That's like I tell people, like you said, if you want to, be like Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith, with the internet, you can basically do that. You can start your own thing and just put it online, advertise it, go on YouTube, whatever you got to do. If you want to do a movie and Hollywood won't accept you, I mean, nowadays you can pretty much put out your own movie.
Skip Hollywood.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the internet, and the internet provides the direct-to-consumer relationship. You direct to consumer. That's kind of what changed the game in business and just everything. It's just a direct to consumer relationship, and you really don't need the middleman anymore. You can kind of just do it yourself nowadays.
The biggest buyer of Black films in America is Redbox.
Wow.
Number 2 is Netflix. So Marcus Houston, I know people don't hear much about him anymore, but Marcus Houston, used to sing all the time and dance, used to be on Tia Tamera show. That kid produces a movie every year, and it gets purchased for anywhere from $500,000 to $3 million between Redbox and Netflix. Look him up. For a while, I was like, how is this kid still making all this money with this giant house in LA? And that's what I went to a film festival, a Black film festival, and that's what it was. Marcus Houston every year to that red box.
And he understands business. You know, if you want to be an entrepreneur or business owner, you gotta just study business. Like that's what I've just been doing since I've opened a business. I've just been studying business. Like you have to just study entrepreneurship and business. You have to read a lot. You have to try to learn, listen to podcasts, go on YouTube and learn stuff. You really just gotta study business. And you know, people like Marcus Houston,
study business, but take action.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely take action. You know, that's why I don't just study business and in itself. I study business and I also have a business. So I'm studying it and I'm running a business. A lot of people, there's MBA professors or college professors that teach business that study business. They think they know business, but they don't actually have a business. So, you know, and then again, you don't want to just have a business, but not like read and learn and try to learn from other people who actually have ran a business or own a business. You know, you don't want to just have a business and think you know everything and, you know, don't need to talk to anybody. You don't need to read. You don't need to learn. No, you got to read. You got to learn as well. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that point up. Action. So I study and a lot of business I've learned just through experience.
Yeah. I mean, experience will teach you faster than a book can.
Absolutely.
Your professor can tell you something, you get out and you go, wait a minute. Or like, I remember the other day I called this person and I feel bad, but I'm about to bust them out. They were like, oh, PayPal is losing, you know, PayPal is going down, you know, all these things are, you know, going under. And I wanted to laugh because, because I was like, yeah, I just did 40 grand through PayPal. What you talking about? Right. like you can still do large purchases through PayPal. PayPal has over 205 million members. Like it went up 50 more million people. Like PayPal helps people from Mexico help their cousins in another country. PayPal is doing stuff that, what are you talking about?
Exactly. PayPal. I mean, I love PayPal.
But it shows you the difference between somebody who's doing business and talking about it or reading about it. Because even if he or she would have read, they would realize they were so incorrect. Exactly. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
That's the kicker. That's the kicker. When people are trying to talk to you about something, you're like, baby, I use that platform, honey. What are you talking about?
Not like I heard or I read or, you know what I mean? I heard about it. No, I use it. Like I get people all the time like try to give me ideas and say, well, you should do this, you should do that, you should do. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that sounds good, but you're not looking at it from a business perspective. You're looking at it, oh, well, that would be nice to do. Oh, you should offer this, you should do that. I look at it from a business perspective. You know, most of the people that talk to me about stuff like that, people I used to work with or people that never owned a business, never ran a business, don't know anything about business, but they think they do. You know what I mean? Like just because you're older than me doesn't mean you know more about business than me. So
I know it makes them struggle. They want to give you counsel, but they don't know how. Passion for decor said seek out mentors as well. I mean, that's what we've been saying through the show is your knowledge you have now has got you to the level you are. Like if you're taking action, you're trying to grow your business and you're getting here, you're not stuck, you're moving, but you're like, okay, what am I missing? Seeking out somebody at the next level. A person at the next level will work with you if you are working.
Yep.
Now, if you sit at your mom's house complaining, talking about you to move and grow and do all this, and you asking somebody who's a millionaire, can you help me? No, they're not going to help you because you can't even figure out how to get your mama's house.
Exactly.
And I make a joke about this, but I meet people who live with their moms and they are working together to buy another home, buy multiple homes. That's what I'm talking about. If you live with your mom and you and your mom are buying rentals so y'all both can be retired, hey, all day I'll clap you out. If you're home and you have a car, you shouldn't even see your house. I mean, we had Vietnamese neighbors. They didn't even see their house. They got home late. They left early in the morning. You know what I mean? Like they put in the work. And so when they could take 2 weeks vacation and go to Vietnam, they really going. They're not doing a weekend break. They're going for 2 weeks. They can take time off because they put in the work. And that's the difference. I tell a lot of people, I'm like, I remember talking to someone saying, you could work a second job. Well, I just don't. Where would I have the time? You have time to go to movies every night. You got time to go to happy hours every night. You got time. Even if you just drive Uber or do something on the side, you've got time.
Hey, I'm definitely glad you brought that point up because I see that a lot. I tell a lot of people that, well, you know, if you're complaining about being broke, if you're complaining about your job, but at the same time, You watch ESPN for 6 hours. You watch a football game that's about 4 hours. You watch basketball. You still go out to eat all the time. You still go to the movies. You still go to concerts. You still go to the club. If you do all those type of entertainment, social things, but you're still complaining about being broke or your job, stuff like that, I really don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Time is everything. What you do with your time is very, very crucial.
Oh, I mean, you're losing money and you're losing time. If I sit here and go $25, let's invest. Like Andre Hatchett just interviewed Todd Capital's company owner, Charles, I forgot to say his name. But the key is they have a $25 spot, a $100 spot, and a $1,000 spot that you can invest in monthly. Kick it. I even tell you guys about Lending Club for my book, The Rise of 1099 Hobby. $25, drop and get notes in Lending Club. The reason I was able to get 13% interest on Lending Club is one year I took $1,000 out of my tax refund, dropped it into 40 different notes, and anytime money got paid back to me, I just threw it back into notes. I just kept letting it rotate. Same thing when I did with my E-Trade account. Just put the money in there, it never comes back out. I'm just letting it roll. And I only invest in monthly dividend stocks because in college, we had a professor taught us how to do penny stocks, taught us how to do different things. And then that stock market crashed. So then after that, I was like, all right.
I don't do it.
Stocks only.
I'm big in the stock market and I'm not a big fan of penny stocks.
Yeah, I go, stop that mess. But he was just trying to teach us examples of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know. It's good to learn. And it's really nothing wrong with doing it. Just don't bank on it. A lot of people just want to bank on, they want to day trade and, sell at the right time, buy at the right time, get the right price.
They're stuck in that flip mindset. I'm like, you can't flip everything. There are people who do this day and night, and they are at a computer and they are in a stock market office. They are faster than you. Like, don't tell me how much you're going to do this. The computer equalizes a lot of things, but not everything. So that's
exactly.
A lot of these people who I always tell these people this: no matter whether you start a business, no matter whether you follow our advice and you do whatever, if you buy one rental property a year, a house that pays you $800 to $900 a month is the gross rent, right? And you do that every year for 1 year for 10 years. Every month, you're getting $9,000 in from rental income. That's gross, not net. Tell me how your life is different from your other friends 10 years from now.
Exactly.
I mean, even if you do it now, this is the kicker. We have one friend here who's lived in the same apartment for 8 years. She could be paying that on a house. Okay. Second, and the price of homes in Austin have tripled, so she can't even get in a house now. Now, another friend, he started out way in the country and everybody made fun of him. Two years later, he moved closer in. 2 years later, he moved closer in. 2 years later, now 6 years later, homie has, I think technically because he's been here 10 years, I think he has 4 properties and he's going to get a 5th because him and his wife are getting married. And him and his girlfriend are getting married. They're going to move somewhere else. So, and this kid came out of the army and was like, what can I do? I'm a bartender. I need to do something. I'm going to buy this house and rent the rooms out. And kept moving. So you have to figure out your situation. But at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in buy and hold. Me too. I'm a big believer. Make the extra income so that you can.
It's passive. The best part of what you said about rental property stuff is passive income. It's not just the fact that if you buy one a year, 800-900, that goes to what, 9,000 after 10 years, whatever. But that's 9,000 that you don't have to do anything. Like, you may have to do some maintenance, you gotta pay the tax and stuff like that. But that money comes guaranteed every month and you don't have to work for it. You know what I mean?
Think about it. That's $100,000 a year, $108,000 a year. Now you're gonna say, well, Erica, maintenance, tax, and mortgage. Okay, cut it in half. 45,000. 45,000 times 10, 12, almost 60.
Exactly. Okay.
So what? So you're telling me if you're working at your job as a teacher, you're making 40 grand and then an additional 60 grand come in, that's not enough? That's the kicker that kills me with people. They'll go, I need $1 million business. I need $1 million this. Honey, you don't even make 50 yet.
Exactly.
So how you skipping the mill? But people will tell you the risk is not worth it unless they can get a mill. And that's not true. I love how Gary Vee is always bringing out, to be in the top 1%, you only need $400,000 a year. And there's an even cooler one. If you guys Google it on your own, it's a map of all the states and what you need to make in each state to be 1%. I think North Carolina was like 300,000. I think Mississippi was like 200,000 a year. South Carolina was like 200,000. You in the 1%. New York, of course, was like you had to make 400,000 or something like that, crazy. But to be in the 1% in that state, it didn't take much.
I like Gary Vee.
I mean, I know people who are in South Carolina right now. They live big, but all it is they own, you know, an apartment complex, a small one, like a little 10-unit building. And the same people live in that building for years, paying them, and they living big, hanging out in Charleston.
That's amazing. That's great. That's great. Absolutely.
So what are things that can speed that up? Credit can help you speed that up. You know, getting some business loans can speed that up. But at the end of the day, all this conversation we had, you have to take action. So I loved all the questions. I tried to get to everybody. I think he had a few more, and we're going to wrap it up because I don't want to take up all Ryan's day. Irvin Thomas says, I'm at work, missing the show. Sorry, Irvin. Alvin says, who would have thought Batman from Immature would do so well? Little Bow Wow still standing strong too. Yeah, Little Bow Wow's mom is the powerhouse brains in that situation. Bo's News. That's what I said. If I knew what I know now 5 years ago, I would have been way better in life than now. Well, Bo, here's the kicker. That from a lot of folks. And don't feel bad, because now that you do have the knowledge, you can change your life. I mean, some of my clients, they literally go, man, oh my gosh, I've been wasting my money. But if we get them $50,000 in loans, a down payment on a 4-plex, a 6-unit, or an 8-unit, or whatever, wherever they're at, you can start from scratch today. You can catch up. I mean, there's a book called The 10-Year Turnaround, and nobody likes it because it's not sexy. 10 year turnaround. But if you look over the course of people's life, especially that 22 to 32, whoo, and the choices people make, whether to live at home with their parents, go back after college, and not move and not hustle. I know people who are just now leaving home and they're 30. I know people who they're playing catch up. And a lot of the country is saying, why are people not getting married? What's going on? Well, you got 1 in 3 men, 19 to 34, living at home. That just doesn't work. Like, you getting your life started, you saving money, you investing in rental properties, you have to. I'm not saying move out of your parents' house today, but I'm saying if you are home, how much hours are you spending playing games when you're home?
Exactly.
How many hours are you watching TV? Because you can start today, and in 5 years, you be a millionaire. There's an IRS statistic I love sharing. The penniless Haitian and the penniless Korean come to America. Within 5 years, 80%, that's not all of them, but 80% of Haitians and 80% of Koreans are millionaires or have $1 million in assets on their IRS forms in 5 years of coming to America. Now, people are going to say, well, the Asians got all these loans and da-da-da-da. No. The Korean and the Haitian. So, you know, some people are saying, well, I'm in part of Miami and the Haitians are doing bad. That's the Haitians you see. What are the Haitians? I'm not trying to knock where you live. I'm just saying, if the IRS is saying these folks have this amount of money, they're somewhere in Florida. They're just not where you at.
Exactly.
So,
and they stick together.
A lot of the Haitians,
they stick together. They help each other. They help each other. They borrow from each other. If one needs money, they loan the other money. You know what I mean? Like group economics.
Well, even that. Okay, so my friend works at Bank of America, and people are like, "How are these Hispanic guys getting these loans?" Well, they come into America, but they get those deposits to the bank every Friday. They're cashing those checks. The bank's like, "Oh, you got money. Let's give you $1,000 credit card." What's the problem in a lot of African American communities? 53% of African Americans are underbanked or don't have a bank. Definitely. You can't tell me you want $100,000 in credit cards tomorrow and you ain't even got a bank. Like, I can't.
I know a lot of people don't have bank accounts. Like, seriously, you wouldn't even believe. I'll be like, I have a bank account? Like, let alone an investment account, stock account, real estate. You don't even have a bank account.
They'll have a PayPal before they have a bank account. I'll be like, what in the world? But they'll be wanting to buy stuff off Amazon. So, I mean, it's just, so the key here is some of the easiest steps to follow as we talk is if you have to start today. Bo News says, I'm taking action. Yes, I don't definitely feel bad, but now that I know, Bo, you got this. Bo, you're taking action. That's the key. Bo, if you're on this, anybody that's on this channel that's watching out of the 30 people that's watching right now, earlier it was a bigger number, but if y'all are watching this right now, you're looking for people who have the information.
Yes.
And then now you can take the next step.
Absolutely. I'm big on action. Like, a lot of people call me and send messages and talk. If you just want to talk, like, I don't have time for that. Like, seriously, I'm big on action. Like, you gotta take action. If you want to see changes in your life, if you want to grow, if you want to build, you have to take action. Take action now. Don't wait. You want an LLC? Do it right now. Start the application. You want to pitch application. Start the application right now. Want to start a business? Start right now. Go on Facebook and start promoting your business right now. You want a YouTube? Do a 5-minute video and put it on YouTube right now. Don't wait.
Thank you guys. I mean, me and Brian, we can't get any hyper. It's too early in the day. We got to save some of the energy. So everybody, thanks, Chris McDonald. He said Erica's brilliant. Thanks. I appreciate that. A couple more people said cool stuff. I appreciate y'all. LoveYou2.com. Thank you guys for joining us. Listen, check out Ryan McCrary. He's on Facebook and he loves doing the daily videos on Facebook. Also check out his services. If you guys need help, if you're in the Philly area, I have several clients that have came out of the Philly area. You guys are nice people. Regardless what they say about y'all. You guys are nice people. And there's great marketing opportunities and real estate opportunities in Philadelphia, Maryland, all those spots. Don't overlook it. Don't think you got to come all the way south. There's some stuff up there. But look, Ryan, tell the audience where they can catch you at and close them out a little bit, and I'll go ahead and close them out as well.
Absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook, Ryan McCrary. My business page is on Facebook, McCreery Financial Solutions. You can go to my website, McCreeryFinancialSolutions.com. I'm on Instagram at MyOwnBoss87. I'm on YouTube at Ryan McCrary. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then my website is McCreeryFinancialSolutions.com if you want a one-on-one coaching session. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Everybody, the key to this was take action. Don't talk, take action.
Everybody, this is Erica from the Classy Climb blog. I'm going to do my closing out of the office. You know, during the live chat, all these amazing conversations aren't put in the comments. So if you could, hit the like button, drop a comment. I appreciate it. Also, if you guys would love to share this within your community, within your sphere, do it. It is great stuff for everyone. You already know I'm going to turn some of these into Classy Climb blog articles, and this one will be one of them. Also, I have Terry Mason. I see where he says, I need a mentor. Hey, Terry, you can reach out to me or Ryan. Always check the links below. I have all our links always available for everybody to click. Thank you guys so much. You know, next week we'll catch Ryan and we'll talk about some things on financial independence. So everybody, this is Erica, Classy Climb blog. You guys have an awesome day.